$14.8 billion for Social Security. President Biden wants to give more. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right now as we speak, Congress has a piece of legislation in their possession to give Social Security $14.8 billion. Now, this would actually be about $1.8 billion more than what Social Security received in 2022, which also represents about a 14% increase. Now, President Biden wants to give the Social Security Administration more, but just like so many things, there is a minor delay that Congress is currently working on. However, they will be working their way through this delay relatively quickly, but I do want to talk you through all the details about this and the full $14.8 billion on the table for Social Security. Let's get into it and discuss all the details. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video. As I am your one and only daily advocate, I'm here for you right by your side every single day, doing all the necessary research and watching all these new developments as they're hitting the wire, breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay updated with what is actually going on as things continue to change very rapidly. We're getting all these announcements out of the administration, the president, lawmakers, Congress, new bills and packages, proposals and amendments, reform to very important fixed income benefits, as well as all this other talk about money, checks, programs, stimulus, raises to benefits, anything else like that. Of course, I'm bringing it to you in these short videos. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and I'll continue to be here for you to help you out in any way that I possibly can, navigating this very busy time, as well as being here right by your side. All right, thanks again. Subscribe, share, and go back and check out the other videos here on the channel, and let's get right into this one and talk about the $14.8 billion for Social Security. All right, now here's what it comes down to. This is all in relation to the 2023 fiscal year. Okay, so as we've talked about in previous videos, the fiscal year of the federal government starts on October 1st and runs through September 30th. As a result of that, the president was out and unveiling his federal budget for 2023, which, by the way, trillions of dollars on the table with this federal budget. But within it, there's $14.8 billion in there for the Social Security Administration. In fact, in the 2022 fiscal year, there was about $13 billion for the Social Security Administration. So Social Security is going to get a raise of about $1.8 billion. How would you like that, right? You get a raise of $1.8 billion on an annualized basis, or about 14%. Not too bad, right? I think all of us would be very happy with that. Well, yeah, Social Security is probably smiling about this one as well. However, there is a minor issue that we have going on in Congress. Is there never not an issue in Congress? I mean, let's be real for a second. It seems like they should rename Congress to just Issue Fest, right? Seriously. I mean, that's not a very good name, but there's always something going on in Congress. There's always some kind of delay, back and forth drama. There's always something going on. Well, here's what it comes down to. They are extending out the details and all the provisions of the 2022 fiscal year out longer, out until probably about December 16th. Why? Because they've never came together on all the details of the 2023 fiscal year budget, which they need to pass by October 1st. Well, as a result of that, they're working on this continuing resolution, which will continue to keep the government funded out until December 16th. Now, these are the details as of right now, which in other words basically just gives them a couple more months to figure out all the details of the federal budget and figure out what they want to do to come together. So, right there in mid-December, December 16th is the date in which this continuing resolution will likely expire. However, let's be real again, they're probably going to kick it down the road into early next year. Well, maybe they will, or maybe they'll actually get it done because they probably all want to get out of town in, mid-December for the holidays, for a long time, things like that. But again, we can cross that bridge when we get to that time. However, within this bill, within this piece of legislation, they do want to give Social Security $14.8 billion for 1 year. This isn't talking about like 10 years. This is just the 2023 fiscal year budget. So, as a result of that, as soon as Congress comes together, and remember, just like every piece of legislation, it always goes through the process of working its way through the House of Representatives, through the Senate, and what do these lawmakers do? they make changes to the original, transcript that's out there, the original bill, the original proposal. There's always changes. It almost never makes its way through Congress in the original form, right? There's always some kind of changes in the House. They usually change it again in the Senate, and by the time it actually comes down to the table, it's usually very, very different than what the original bill just was, right? For example, remember back in grade school? This is kind of a funny example. Remember back in grade school, all the kids would sit in a circle and you'd play this game telephone, right? So the teacher would start it and say a little sentence or something. By the time it got to the end of the line, it was nowhere even near what the teacher said originally, right? You remember those games? It was so funny because, maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't intentional, but through the grapevine, after going through, say, 20 kids or something like this, now all of a sudden, this story has changed dramatically. It's kind of like the same thing going through Congress, right? The original proposal says $14.8 billion, and by the time it makes its way out the other end, it's like $3.1 billion or something. You know what I mean? It's just something crazy by the time it gets to the end. So anyway, I thought of that analogy and I thought, that's kind of funny, but it's kind of what really happens in Congress, right? They change it around, they twist all the numbers, they mix it all up, and by the time it comes out and they actually want to vote on it and pass something, it's like, wait, whatever happened here? It's totally different than what we originally saw way back at the original, proposal. But anyway, so this $14.8 billion is basically to keep Social Security funded, with all the administration details in the back end to help out with customer service, which, by the way, have you called Social Security lately? You probably have, and you probably remember it because your phone battery probably ran out during the time that you were sitting there waiting on hold for however long it happened to be just to talk to somebody for 3 minutes until you got rushed off the phone so they could talk to somebody else. Been there, done that. Have you been there doing that lately? I know I certainly have, and it's not a fun thing. You sit there on hold forever, and all of a sudden you finally get to talk to somebody. It feels like you just get rushed off the phone right away. I don't know. I don't like it. Not a fan, right? Well, as a result of this $14.8 billion or the extra $1.8 billion, it's hopefully going to help out with that a little bit and also help them process applications faster. Again, if you're in the process of filing an application right now for Social Security, you're probably waiting a very long time. In fact, what was it? I don't know, maybe 4 months ago or so, I was out in a separate video and said that right now, applications on SSDI, not retirement, not survivors, not SSI, just SSDI. There's 1 million applications backlogged right now just for Social Security disability. That's a long time, right? It's going to take them a long, long time to go through those applications. So they are backlogged because they simply don't have the people power. They don't have all the people that they need to get these applications processed, quickly. They don't have all the admin work on the front end, the back end. They have all this stuff. Well, hopefully this $14.8 billion will solve some of those issues. But again, at the same time, I think we all need to recognize, and I think we're all smart enough to know this. We've been here. We've seen this play out before. It's not going to really change a whole lot, right? We've seen this happen before. It's always never enough, right? Every time that they get some kind of funding, some kind of, big influx of money that comes in, something like this, any of these agencies, it's not just Social Security, all of a sudden they say, this is going to fix all of our problems. And then do any problems get fixed? Pretty much not. It's pretty much all this just same old song and dance, same old thing we've always been seeing, delays and all over the place. But hopefully this will actually alleviate some of those issues that are going on, processing applications, making sure that, the customer care people, the customer service people are there on the front end, answering phone calls in a timely manner, and, have the details and the training, things like that to actually help out the people that are calling with issues on their monthly benefits. So, anyway, this is what's going on right now. The $14.8 billion, it's on the table, but again, it's actually being held up a little bit at the moment because Congress can't come together on the next fiscal year budget for 2023. However, it's likely that they will be coming together at some point between now and December 16th, which is when that continuing resolution will be expiring yet again. So either they got to push it out one more time or they finally need to come together and get their work done. It's kind of surprising, but at the same time, it's not too shocking because we see this happen every single year, right? We get right down to the end of September, and what do? They scramble to pass a continuing resolution to keep the government funded so we don't go into a partial shutdown and all the business that we deal with all the time, right? anyway, I wanted to bring this information to you, break it all down for you, let you know what's going on, and how this is going to impact all of us going forward. Hopefully, we'll have a better experience here soon when we need to call Social Security or connect with anybody, or for the people that are filing applications right now. Again, it's a pretty big backlog for applications. So hopefully this will alleviate some of those pressures. But again, we still got to wait for Congress to come together to work out all the details on this and actually pass it through with the 2023 fiscal year budget. Anyway, as I get more details on any information, of course, I'll be here for you, breaking it all down, letting you know what's going on, and of course, how it's going to impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and of course, just keeping you updated with everything going on. So please make sure to have a nice day. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, have a good one, and I'll catch you again later in the next video.